You're listening to The Rich Life Revolution with me, Michelle Cooper. My mission is to empower you to step into your next level of wealthy. You'll hear all the deets, a little bit of inspiration, and real life takeaways so that you can create your own rich life revolution. Let's dig in. Hey friends, welcome back to the Rich Life Revolution podcast. Today, I am going to share all about sacred money archetypes with you. I freaking love this topic. This is one of my favorite things to talk about. A lot of people think that they've followed people like Suze Orman or Dave Ramsey, and these are the people that, in my opinion, are really based in the kind of scarcity and lack part of money, right? The money world. So often their advice is to, cut back in order to save more or pay a debt or whatever it is. And that's fine. You can do that. I'm all for not spending money where you don't want to spend it, but not spending money where you do want to spend it because it actually improves your life. So one of the funny things I say often is like, your $8 latte is not the thing that's keeping you broke. It's actually your relationship with money. Underneath everything is your relationship with money. And the foundation of your relationship with money is your money archetype. So there are 8 sacred money archetypes: the accumulator, the alchemist, the connector, the celebrity, the maverick, the romantic, the nurturer, and the ruler. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about each of them. You may hear yourself in my summary of each archetype, and I'm going to give you a link at the end where you can do an assessment and figure out what your sacred money archetype is, because this is a freaking game changer, okay? If I had known my sacred money archetype and my ex-husband's sacred money archetype, he might not be my ex-husband right now, okay? Because we have 2 vastly different archetypes. I am a romantic as my top one, and he is an accumulator at his top one. And those 2 really do not meet in the middle anywhere, right? It's good. I have a great friend who is an accumulator, and she really helps me, and I help her because I'm a romantic, and it's like the opposite ends of the spectrum. But in a relationship, it doesn't mean you can't be in a relationship with that person, but in a romantic relationship, it can cause a lot of problems. Now, understanding your partner's money archetype will help you have a different conversation than you're probably having now. Understanding your employee's money archetype will help you coach them in their role and see if they're a good fit for that role on your team than perhaps another kind of personality assessment. Understanding your kids' money archetype, if they're, in their upper teen years or early 20s or older, will help you understand and support them as they create their rich life revolution. So let's dive into the money archetypes and why you would want to know this. The money archetypes are your money code. Like, I talk about it being a unique to you money code, okay? And once you discover your money code, it can feel like all the puzzle pieces of your life are falling into place. Like, it can feel like relief. To me, it was so freeing to understand more about myself. It helps you understand what makes you tick. It frees you from negative self-judgment. You discover what your core money strengths are and how you can use them to make more money. And you're free to make decisions from a place of empowerment, not survival. It will also help you no longer fall prey to unconscious sabotaging behavior. And that was probably one of the biggest things for me. You'll know what to do and what to say when someone you care about is kind of like pushing your money boundaries. And as I said before, those stressful squabbles with your loved ones about money, they will be gone because you can understand yourself and them, and you have the tools to come at a conversation from your highest and your best self. So I'm going to go through them one by one. I'm going to tell you a little bit about each one. If one of these resonates with you as you're listening, kind of like make a mental note, write it down, make a little voice memo, and see if this comes true when you do the assessment. So the first one is the alchemist. So the alchemist is an idea generator, right? They're a dreamer of possibilities, sometimes a little woo-woo, hippie-ish. They can get really stuck in the follow-through, and they can struggle to make money out of their gazillion ideas that they have. In fact, the alchemist can have so many ideas, so many incredible, revolutionary ideas, but their bank account usually doesn't reflect their creative genius. You see, the trouble is with an alchemist, they can't always monetize their creativity. They often flounder from business to business, jumping around. The thing that comes to mind all the time I think about is like the people who buy a gazillion domain names, but they don't end up doing anything with them. They're orphan domain names. I think that's kind of funny. And they can often have disgruntled clients because they'll start something, but they won't necessarily finish it. I do have Alchemist as one of my top 5. And I've had this where I've created a program and then I've gotten bored and decided I don't want to do this anymore. But there were like 20 people who enrolled in it. And I've got to figure out what to do with them now. They can move on very easily to the next shiny thing, you know, kind of like the squirrel, I'm on to the next thing. They do have a love-hate relationship with money, and that exacerbates their problem with money. They can resent its importance in their life, and really they're not that bothered because they truly believe that they can manifest anything when it's needed. So they don't usually get stressed about money. They're like, it'll show up when I'm ready for it and it'll all work out, is something you would hear an alchemist say. So the accumulator is known as the inner banker. Okay, they are the person who love to be the banker in Monopoly. They're a money conscious saver. They are a penny pinching bargain hunter. They can very easily get caught and stuck in analysis paralysis. They'll run the numbers all kinds of different ways to figure it out. And they have a little bit of perfectionism in them. They love saving money. They love building a nest egg, and they love living within their means. It comes so easy to them, and they feel super proud of that. As a result of that, they rarely carry debt, and debt can be very stressful to them, and they make methodical, disciplined decisions. That's their go-to behavior. But the thing with accumulators is inwardly, they worry about spending even small amounts of money. And they're very risk adverse. They love to have a big safety net, a big cushion. They can't really bring themselves to trust that money is an unlimited resource, despite how many times you tell them that or they hear that, they can't really trust that. This fear of running out of cash can trigger very, very frugal behavior, and it can limit their willingness to invest in themselves. They might feel like an outlier in the entrepreneurial world, which can be full of alchemists and mavericks and boss babes who seem to make it all up on the fly and leap without a safety net. They find that very, very stressful. And that can make them feel like an outsider. So let's jump over to the celebrity. This is a fun one. The celebrity is like the fabulous star. They're the impeccable tastemaker. They love the spotlight. They love center stage. They love a microphone. They're the person who, in a big room of people, they will run to the microphone to ask their question, to make a comment, to contribute, just because they love that spotlight. But they can also often live beyond their means. They can spend too much money on luxury goods, too much money on travel and VIP experiences. They love the bling, bling, bling. They have a very charismatic personality, and this makes them a magnet for attracting like the 5-star people and the experiences in their lives. They love to bring on that bling. They love to create a lot of attention, and they deeply appreciate the doors that money can open. But under the glitz and glam, they may be overcompensating for a lack of self-esteem. They can use their love of designer clothes as a shield to hide insecurities and very often bad money habits. They have a champagne lifestyle on a tap water budget often, and this can lead them to feel like a fraud. They can have imposter syndrome, and this can lead to a really low vibe. They also might end up feeling frustrated in an entrepreneurial world because they're a go-getter, and they might see people who kind of half-ass it in their business and it just looks like luck, and they're making money and moving forward. They put a lot of effort in, and they really want to be rewarded. So the connector is the relationship builder. These are people who are sometimes counselors, they're cheerleaders, they're problem solvers. They are really who freely give their ideas and their advice, but they struggle to charge anyone because everyone they meet becomes their new best friend. So how can you charge your friend for your services if you're an entrepreneur? You can, because they're your friend. They're your new best friend. Everybody's their new best friend. They keep the world spinning, and they bring everyone together with kindness and love. So they have so much to give, and they have a great, immense faith and optimism that money will always be available. And so they don't worry. They don't usually have worries about money. They tell themselves it will all work out. And it often does. And often connectors experience like the magic of like it working out at the last minute. They have a super trusting nature, which means that they can sometimes attract codependent or even like the shadiest people who will take advantage of them. They easily forgive, they easily move on, and they don't carry that stuff around with them. I have connector in me, and people will say that about me, like, you forgave that person too easy. And I'm like, who cares? They might feel frustrated again in the entrepreneurial world when they see people who don't put their heart and soul into their business. They're like, I give so much to my business. These people aren't putting their heart and soul, and they're making bank. The connector has a great impact to make in the world. They just need to start charging for their time, their energy, their support. The maverick is the rule breaker, and they are also the underdog champion. They hate being told what to do. I may have this quite high in my archetypes. And they will often be the change maker in their industry. They have really bold and courageous ideas. And the important thing to remember about a maverick is that they can burn down their business just because they're bored, even when it's working, okay? Because they want to recreate all the time. Their creativity and their audacity for generating money is super impressive to those around them. Often, they're like a modern-day pirate, right? They're like, I'm going for the gold. And they find gold in the most unexpected places. Balance and stability are definitely not something that mavericks find exciting, which can lead them into situations of creating extreme financial highs and lows. It's the feast and famine cycle that they will create. You could say that they are addicted to the adrenaline rush of seeing how close they can get to ruin and then bouncing back and rise dramatically from the ashes like a phoenix. Feast or famine is their favorite party trick. They think they don't need money because they're going to live like a rock star anyways. So it's not even a question for them. It's not even a thing. The nurturer is similar to the connector. They're the kind-hearted, gentle, wise soul, always thinking about serving others, solving other people's money problems, over delivering with clients, even when it causes grief and problems. And this can lead to martyrdom and resentment, which, as I'm sure you can imagine, is a low vibe. If you're a nurturer, your desire to be of service makes you extremely generous, okay? But what the nurturer doesn't see is that they can create boundaries with those that they care for, and this enables those people to step into their own power, okay? Because their generosity, their selfless generosity, can create enabling relationships and problematic relationships. Because there's these people that they want to help, and so the boundaries are non-existent sometimes. And like I said, this sows seeds of resentment and martyrdom. Even if you really don't want to admit that, it's in there somewhere. So it's not unusual for a nurturer to compromise their own finances with their generosity, to get into debt for other people, and or to loan money instead of building wealth and stability for themselves. So don't do that. The romantic, this is my number one. It's the go with the flow dreamer and luxury lover who inspires others to live in the moment. Lots of people find it hard to live in the moment. I personally do not. They enjoy the finer things of life. They often ignore pesky details like money, like a savings account or retirement plan, life insurance, those pesky details. The romantic really uses money to enjoy life, and they will often spend it to bring more ease and pleasure or to indulge a loved one. They love gift giving. They love seeing other people lit up by, like, they spend their money on those people. They will often reward themselves because they feel like they need it, they feel like they deserve it, and they love shopping for gifts, and often will be like, oh, I got to get this amazing $100 candle for my friend, and I'm going to buy one for myself at the same time. However, if somebody tells them what to do, or they tell them no, they will pretty much have a tantrum and do it anyways. So it's just not a good approach to tell a romantic no. They follow the pleasure in their business, sometimes switching to more exciting ideas or giving up on things that feel too hard or tedious. Like I said, you create this amazing program, people are in it, they're getting results, and then you're like, I'm going to do something else now. And finally, the ruler. The ruler is the boss babe, the visionary empire builder, sometimes can be a workaholic. This person has big plans. However, they can get burnt out trying to monetize everything simultaneously. They have a high drive to create and innovate. That makes them unstoppable. It makes them a passionate force for good, makes them have a possibility to create a significant impact with their business. However, like I said, it can lead to burnout. They measure their success based on money. Okay, so they use money to measure achievement and accomplishment and success. They have a high, strong work ethic, makes them perfect for entrepreneurship, but sometimes less than a present human being, friend or parent, to be honest. So there's really nothing wrong with their ambition, but sometimes they forget that other people aren't in it with them, and they forget things like eating and drinking and sleep, and then they burn themselves or they burn their team out. So that's a really important piece about a ruler. They're a natural leader, they're a natural innovator, and they can totally figure out how to build an enormous empire with ease and grace if they're living in their strengths. So just as a recap, there are 8 money archetypes. Each one is very different, and we are a combination of all 8, but we want to look at our top 3. So just to run through, let's start with ruler. That's the inner empire builder. Their business dominates most of their time and attention. The accumulator is also known as the inner banker. They feel a great emotional connection, a love, a joy, of happiness about saving money. Then there's the connector. This is the inner relationship creator. They're happiest when someone else is making financial decisions for them. The alchemist is the inner idealist. They care more about social justice and leading a movement than making money. And then we have the maverick, the inner rebel with a cause. They are willing to take a financial risk in exchange for a potential big win. And of course, the celebrity, otherwise known as the inner big shot. They have no problem spending money to enhance their image, including designer brands, hip clothing, entertaining, and plenty of the bling, bling, bling. There's the nurturer, which is our inner sponsor. They have a natural generosity, and that includes wanting to protect, shelter, and nurture others financially. And of course, my top archetype, the romantic, which is the inner hedonist. They dislike thinking or focusing on money, preferring to use money to enjoy the good things in life. So that's the 8 money archetypes. Which one are you? You are a combination of all 8, but what I will stress to you is that the most important thing to look at is your top 3. What's the combination of your top 3? I would love to hear this. In the show notes, there is a link to the money archetype assessment. So you can click on that, download the assessment. It will give you your result. I've put together a Google Drive with the complete outline for each archetype. I only scratched the surface today. I'll do some more episodes that go deep on each of these archetypes, but get in there, figure out which one you are, and then pull up the cards that are for your top 3. Start with your top 1, read it, do the journal exercises, do the meditations, and let me know how it goes. I want to hear what your top 3 are. I want to hear what your thoughts are about this. I find this work to be extremely beneficial to my life, and I hope you will too. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you got at least one gold nugget today. Be sure to grab your copy of the Rich Life Revolution workbook to help you set the foundation for your next level of wealthy. Get it now at richliferevolution.ca, and I'll see you later.